little animal shape here in a rectangle that gives us the scale. We're going to build the animal to size using papier-mâché and using newspaper as an armature. Okay, thanks. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little newspaper, and I've got to build to this size. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is kind of this potato shape of this animal. Okay. I can kind of embed them together a little bit. Feel free to twist and fatigue the paper to where it kind of wants to retain somewhat of a similar shape. Now I have the size, but it's still too skinny for an animal like that, so I'm just going to throw another paper with it. My fingers. Okay. So the rear end of it needs to be a little thicker. Masking tape. And what I can do is I can start to create like a organic contoured form that resembles the animal's form. And I'm just using a little bit of tape to retain that shape. Does not need to be a magnificent job. Oh, okay. Kind of spinning the tape around. Give me that longer shape of the animal. Kind of getting a head and a neck. And you can kind of mush it around a bunch to get it to do what you want it to do. Now I've got to attach the head to the body. I know it looks like a mess, guys, but stick with me. It is going to work out. So now I've got head and neck. Look at the body of your animal. Animals are not flat like cookies, most of them. Most of them have like a round tummy. So you want to make sure that the contour of your paper looks like the animal from the side, but also kind of like from the front. So I'm looking at it from the front. Is that kind of how that animal's face would be? I think so. That's kind of like how its tummy would be. I think so. All right, we'll join those guys together. All right. It's kind of hard from a weird angle, but let me get it. Okay, there we go. Starting to get a sympathetic form with the animal. You can add paper as you need to. I'm noticing I think I made his head too long and his neck. Okay, so his head's a little too long. Guess what? The beauty of paper. Nice and short now. Okay. So really, I'm not really sculpting the animal right now. I'm giving the animal kind of like thickness. Okay. I noticed his has his little chest coming out like this. Twisting the paper gives you a little bit of like mass in a good way. Okay. So I'll twist the paper to add mass. Give it a little twist. I'm going to add a little mass on that chest, kind of by putting a twist in here. Okay, now a lot of students tend to want to take enough tape that it looks like a mummy from Egypt. We really don't want you to do that because it's really not necessary. All right. Plus then we tend to run out of tape halfway through the project, so we're kind of getting there. Now let's talk legs. If your animal's small, you can do legs with no wire. Okay, and I'll show you how to do a leg. Okay, I'm going to take a piece of newspaper, throw it on a diagonal, twist, 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 twist. All right, I've got my twist going. I can throw in a little bit of tape, kind of spin it around while twisting. It can help it retain its twist. Okay, so once I have that twist, now it's possible for me to cut a little stumpy leg like this and glue it onto the, or tape it onto the animal, but actually it's not that strong. So a trick I like to do is to make a leg that's a little on the long side. Like, and you can do the little leg if it's not like holding up the animal and stuff, if it's sort of just a decorative leg, like it's a cat laying down or something like that. Okay, but here I've got the long leg. Twist, twist, twist. I remember which way I'm twisting. And I can go up and over the shoulder, like this. Okay, and you can see there's a little more inherent strength in that, like for load bearing, if the animal's trying to stand up. If it's like one big long piece like that. Gee whiz, I'm having tape issues. Okay, tape it into place. Okay, he's gonna kind of be sticking out. So once again, yes, are you monkeying this thing together with tape? You sure are. It's okay. Okay, so we're taping, flip it over. Tape it. So you're kind of getting your legs to stand up. I'm seeing he needs a little more, oh, there we go. Yeah, I'm seeing he's gonna need more legs back here. Same way, I'm gonna make a long twist and put it up and over his hips and tape it into place. All right, so then I'll show you the next step. You gotta go with the twist. That's the tricky bit. Okay. Sorry it's time consuming, you guys. Ugh. Oh, it's so easy.
Well, I mean, yeah, I've done it before, but I hate the texture.
Oh,
I don't like sticky things on my hands.
Tie wire, T-I-E. It's used for tying rebar together in construction of concrete forms. It's really strong wire. The thing you need to know is these are razor sharp edges, so don't be goofing around flailing your wire around. When you cut wire, I like to take the needle nose pliers and I give it a little safety loop at the end. That way, if you're winding things and stuff at your desk and this accidentally hits your face or your friend's face, it's not going to leave, if you're not taking a sharp thing and flying it around. Okay, so here we got a piece of wire. Okay, I'm going to cut it with the cutting jaws of the needle nose pliers. You're going to notice the pliers have a cutting jaw. Give it a little safety loop. You can also take a little piece of tape and put it on the end here of the wire. Either way. Now I've got a leg created. Let's say, in the case of this little capybara, he or she doesn't really need to have extreme load bearing. However, you may have an animal, maybe like a giraffe or something, that really does need to be really strong in the legs. You can take a piece of newspaper and take the wire and kind of twist them together. Okay? Twist, 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 twist. And then for extra cleverness, what I like to do is I cut it at the end and I hook it and I clamp it real hard on the end there. So it's kind of like grabbing onto the paper. Now I've got a really strong little appendage that could bear weight, and I will bend it over just like I did the last one. Okay, I can even put like a little knee in there like mammals have, you know, a little kind of, you know how cats and stuff have that little bend in their back elbow, if you will. You can do that. You can do all kinds of things. Keep it twisting, because that twist is what makes it look like a cylinder, like a leg, okay? And these are very positionable. And then I would tape that thing into place. Okay, and I would have a load-bearing appendage, if you will. All right, so here's where we're at. I kind of tighten it up, twist things, add little bits of tape, because I see the leg is kind of falling apart here. But that kind of gives you your idea.